The arrival of Jungkook and BTS members has always been a magnet for attention in various countries. Each of their appearances is almost always welcomed by a sea of fans who come from various regions and even other countries. The phenomenon is no longer just a form of support for artists, but has become a social event that shows the great influence of South Korean popular culture in the world. However, in contrast to the various news stories that often highlight the crowds or chaos at the arrival of world celebrities, the situation this time actually shows a very different scene. Since a few hours before the scheduled arrival, the airport has reportedly been coordinating with various related parties, including security officers, terminal managers, and representatives who accompanied the artist's entourage. The main purpose of the coordination was not to provide preferential treatment, but to ensure that all activities at the airport could run as it should. The safety of passengers, the comfort of airport users, and the safety of artists and fans are the top priorities that must be maintained simultaneously. Imagine thousands of pairs of eyes staring at one and the same arrival door, holding their breath in hope and excitement. How could an international airport be able to control the overwhelming enthusiasm of the biggest fans in the world without causing the slightest chaos? When news of Jungkook and the other BTS members' arrival in Brussels began to spread, many people wondered, will the airport be able to deal with the wave of army expected to come from various European countries? And even more surprising, the answer to that question actually became a story that made thousands of fans feel proud and moved. A few hours before the plane carrying Jungkook and the other BTS members landed, the atmosphere at Brussels airport had already turned into something unusual. However, instead of presenting chaos as many feared, the airport showed a security operation and passenger arrangements called by many observers as one of the most orderly handling of the arrival of international artists in recent years. What exactly does the airport do? Why did the thousands of soldiers present actually praise the professionalism of the airport officers? And is it true that not a single flight schedule was disrupted due to the arrival of BTS members? The answers to all these questions were finally revealed after a number of internal airport sources, local media reports, as well as first-hand testimonies from fans began to appear. What happened in Brussels turned out to be not just the arrival of an ordinary world artist, but an example of how coordination, respect between fans and officials, and careful planning can create a safe, orderly, and emotional historic moment. The arrival of BTS members, including Jungkook, RM, Jin, Suga, and V in Brussels, became one of the most anticipated events by European fans in recent time. Since their departure from South Korea a few days earlier, various social media posts have been filled with soldiers traveling across the country to watch their idol's arrival live. Many fans even claim to have arrived in Brussels since the day before just to make sure they got the best position in the designated area. But what caught the public's attention was not only the presence of the BTS itself, but the way the Brussels airport authorities managed the potentially very complicated situation. Based on information circulating from various fan reports and sources related to airport operations, the airport authority has been coordinating since long ago with security, artist management, and local officials to ensure that the entire arrival process runs smoothly. One of the steps that received the most praise from fans was the decision by the airport to direct the BTS members to the arrival line that had been prepared in advance. The area has been adjusted to the estimated number of fans who will attend, so that the army can watch the arrival of their idols without having to be crowded or interfere with other passenger activities. This decision is considered a form of respect for the fans as well as efforts to maintain the safety of all parties in the airport area. Videos circulating on social media showed airport officials, security, and support staff working together to calm the flow of people. There was no visible panic or major commotion. Instead, thousands of fans patiently waited while following the officers' directions. Many soldiers later expressed their pride because the BTS fan community was once again able to show a positive image in the eyes of the world. A French fan who was present at the location revealed that he was surprised at how organized the welcoming process was. He admitted that he was worried about chaos because the enthusiasm for Jungkook and other BTS members was very large. But in reality, the whole process took place much more orderly than he imagined. Meanwhile, the Brussels airport also reportedly explained to the public that flight operations continued to run normally during the arrival process of BTS and their crew. No flights were canceled or delayed due to the security arrangements. The announcement comes amid concerns on social media that the arrival of a global group like BTS could affect regular flight activity at one of Europe's busiest airports. The fact that all airport operations continue to run smoothly further demonstrates the level of professionalism possessed by the Brussels Aviation Authority. As one of the main international airports in Europe, Brussels Airport has indeed had experience in handling the visit of world leaders, international events, as well as the surge in passengers in large numbers. Airport operational data shows that they serve millions of passengers annually with a very complex coordination system. For the army, the most emotional moment certainly occurred when Jungkook and the other BTS members finally showed up at the arrivals area. Happy shouts, cries of emotion, as well as cheers of support could be heard filling the prepared area. But interestingly, the atmosphere remains within safe and controlled limits. Many fans chose to capture the moment while keeping their distance as directed by security officers. Jungkook's own presence is one of the biggest highlights of this arrival. As one of the BTS members with a huge global fan base, every appearance always manages to attract international media attention. Fans have been waiting for years to see Jungkook live in Europe. Not only Jungkook, the presence of RM, Jin, Suga, and V also received tremendous response. Each member received cheers and support from fans who came from various countries, including Belgium, France, Germany, the Netherlands, to Spain. The diversity of fan origins again shows how broad BTS's influence is internationally. On social media, various hashtags related to BTS's arrival in Brussels quickly became a trending topic. Many internet users praised the professionalism of the airport authorities who were able to manage the situation well. Some even said that the cooperation between the army and the security forces has created a new standard in welcoming large-scale international artists. What makes this story even more interesting is the fact that the success of the arrangement was not only the result of the work of the airport itself, but also due to the discipline of the fans. Many armies voluntarily reminded each other to maintain order, not to encourage, and to respect the instructions of officers. This attitude later received wide appreciation from various parties. In the end, the arrival of Jungkook and the other BTS members in Brussels is not just a world celebrity arrival event. This event turned out to be a vivid example that great enthusiasm does not have to lead to chaos. With proper coordination, respect for the rules, and a spirit of togetherness, thousands of people can come together to celebrate the moment they dream of without interfering with other public interests. Seeing the success of Jungkook and the other BTS members' arrival arrangements in Brussels, many people began to question one interesting thing. Is this one of the most successful international artist welcomes that the airport has had in recent years? The question arises not without reason. In different countries, the arrival of artists with a huge fan base is often characterized by overcrowding, temporary closure of access, to disruption of aviation and general passenger activity. However, what happened in Brussels presented a different picture. And perhaps this is the reason why the thousands of soldiers who returned home from Brussels airport that night did not just bring photos or videos of the idol. They also brought with them a memory that on that day, amid the hustle and bustle of one of Europe's busiest airports, they managed to be part of an orderly, safe, emotional moment that will continue to be remembered for years to come.